just switch back. Now, let's click play again. Now the mouse is going to go up and it's checked a box here, and that's connectors. So that's first Panzer Corps showing the connectors there. And you can see those two connectors. I'll just rewind. Those two connectors just appeared. So if we just demonstrate a few more, that's the next level up. That's 1st Panzer Army showing the connectors between it and its subordinates. And you've noticed that each checkbox, these little green things, have got another sort of brown checkbox next to them. I just thought this would be something handy. Say if you wanted to apply the same, whatever's on this one, you can apply it to all its subordinates. So then the mouse comes over and it just clicks that, and then that just activates the connectors for all the units below it. So then you can see here, you can easily see what the organizational structure is of that unit. And now this is another thing. It's the force summary for the 1st Panzer Army. Again, I actually didn't get this idea from this author, but it turns out someone else thinks this is a useful thing to have displayed as well in some circumstances. And that's another point that I should probably make, is that you probably don't want these displays active all the time, and that's the point of this spreadsheet, is you can quickly customize things. You can show and hide units, show and hide objective, force summaries, front lines, everything you like, to make it as clear as possible for you playing the game. And it's all about options, because you can easily set this up so it's virtually identical to the way it was before. It's your choice. But anyway, the idea is this force summary just floats in. I've just made this one up, showing it's got the name, the commander, the amount of soldiers, how many, the unit details that you usually get on a pop-up. But when this is checked, then this just remains permanently visible. Now, yes. And this is the front line. So we've selected the 1st Panzer Army, and we've highlighted the front line that it's responsible for. You can see here. And use your imagination. Imagine if you could, if the subordinate units were hidden, and all you could see was this 1st Panzer Army and all its unit detail cards, but you couldn't see any other units. But you'd know the front line that it occupies due to this front line display, which I thought would be quite useful. Okay, that's going to come over to, yes, force separation lines, and these are the standard things you usually see on NATO maps. And again, I think it's, yeah, Barbara Red Sheep had them just to clear up things, because it's very confusing without them. Or without all of these display options. I find things quite confusing. And some people can deal with, you know, units that look like the Russian side here, but I can't. I really can't, and I've really tried. Maybe I'm stupid, but hey. So yeah, these are just the standard separation lines, which again just help clarity. Oh, and this a bunch of stuff that I've just got in here is just I just threw this in because I thought this real estate would be quite useful to show various options, such as I've got things here like the objectives, so you can drill all the way down into your unit hierarchy and find out. Imagine if you've set objectives at AI army group level or army level or something like that. But this will allow you to drill down and see what objectives have been set by the AI for like a specific division, for example, and what its its needs are, or what condition it's in. I just made up some stuff here saying Soviet massive infantry opposite. It requires armour and it requires air support, and that's just a condition. You'll be able to look up those conditions at any point in the hierarchy. so let's continue on here. I think it's just going to close the thing, and I got rid of it because I couldn't be bothered to deal with the mock-up anymore. And this is just another example. Excuse my chair. This is just another example of this is the force separation lines. This is the front line for this Army Group North, and you've got Army Group Middle here, and there's another force separation line down here, so Army Group South would be off the bottom somewhere. Also showed it in black, so maybe you could colour customise your fronts just to be able to keep track of things. I think that should be too difficult. There's another one showing all of the connector lines between everything in Army Group North. I think this is where I come up and... oh, there was something back there. Yeah, that was just a highlight on a core showing the specific bit of front that core is responsible for. Now, reorganisation is, as everyone knows, is a pretty big headache in the game at the moment, and people spend an awful lot of time dealing with it. I know there's a free editor, but it's not in game, and it's not really good enough. So another thing about these connectors is they're not just cosmetic, even though that is a great help in viewing the structure of your forces and keeping everything neat and organised. The idea was that you could click on these connectors and drag them from either end. So at the moment I'm clicking on the end connector for this core here, and it allows you to reorganise things. So you'd click, drag it, and drop it off at another army, and now that army is now part of, that core is now part of that army. Okay. Oh, and this is just another way, like I said earlier, of having a drag droppable list. I mean, it's pretty small and blurry down there, but it's about to click on the second infantry corps and drag it back to where it was before. Click, drag, done. That sort of thing. Yeah, that doesn't change up there because I couldn't be bothered to deal with that. That's a mistake, but that line would revert to the way it was before. Like there. So, yeah, that about wraps up the ideas that I've got for display options. And like I said, well, you kind of got an inkling of these connectors here being functional rather than just purely cosmetic, because everything can just look nice, but I think we should have a bit more functionality as well, which I'll come on to. I probably won't make another mock-up because it takes so much time, but I'll probably record another video explaining my ideas, or maybe just post something on the forums and some pictures or something like that. But the idea of let's see if I'll find a good example. Here's the front here, and the idea was that imagine you have two armies here, and you can see here's one front line, and the other front line would run somewhere down here. And imagine you've got another army that you want to be able to slot into the front line. You should be able to just click an army and drag it to a point in between the two fronts. So the idea is these things aren't all just display, they're functional things. You saw it with the connectors. Now these fronts would allow you to click and select units and put them in between, and then click and drag to set how sort of wide they would be, and then everything would redistribute. So you'd end up with not just two armies in the front, but three. So this army here would sort of shrink, and then its new area of responsibility would be sort of here. The army that you just inserted would run from here to here, and the other one would run there. And basically this wanted to sort of illustrate the need for more tools to help manage your armies, and a bit more graphical tools as well to help people like me who just can't remember a list of hundreds of units and remember where we've put certain units, and it's very difficult to keep everything organised at the moment, and you seem to spend a lot of your time doing the mundane organising rather than the attacking and the planning and things like that, which is the fun part. Anyway, I'll stop this now, and right, thanks for listening if you made it this far. See you on the forums.